You've been married 5 times, dude. I answer to this about
You've been
everything.
married 5 times?
Yeah.
So five different wives or like
Yeah,
one
five
multiple
different.
times?
Yeah, just 5 different ones.
Okay, okay. So you Muslim at heart, huh?
Oh no, no, no. Hey, I feel for the brothers that have more than one wife, because dude, I don't get it. Because no, that's man. It's like why,
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah, even the Prophet, peace be upon him, just didn't recommend it.
No,
He
man.
just didn't.
One will drive you absolutely nuts, dude.
So, okay, were they all the same demographic? Were they all white women, or were some of them, did you,
Yeah. They were all white.
you never went Desi or Arab, huh?
No, not by choice. I mean, it was like, so my last wife now that I'm currently separated from,
Hmm.
and it was really nothing went wrong. It's just she's doing so much stuff and I'm doing my thing, and it's like we just kind of broke apart, man. It's kind of sad in a way.
Hmm.
Nobody really did anything wrong, man.
Interesting.
But and she wasn't happy. Okay,
Hmm.
there you go. But I found her. I was looking for a Muslim wife. I wanted a Muslim wife, right?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. Well, I'm a firm believer that we were not created to be alone. Period.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. And especially within Islam, we got the belief that they're the other half of the deen, right? So that was a big thing for me to pursue. And I met a Muslim woman. I lived of course, I'm from Indiana, and she lived in Cleveland, Ohio, I think, or somewhere around northern Ohio. And I met her, and so I went there. I got a hotel. I went there. Her daughters acted as chaperones and stuff. I mean, it's all legit, all on the up and up, man. And we spent time together to talk, and I didn't make enough money for her, man. I'm not about money. Me and Yakub was talking about, right? I, I'm a firm believer in enough. Anything over enough, you need to start taking your interest to other people, right? You need to start helping other people, right? Uh, I mean, I don't fault anybody. I tell people, you go out there, you make $1 million, man. You go get it, But what are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna invest it in people? Are you gonna invest it in trying to make the world a better place?
Mm.
I understand. Me personally, lesson learned, like we were just talking about. I found myself in a financial situation because I was not prepared for what I was facing at the time.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. That won't happen. Not saying you can't do that. I'll have that money set aside for, if there's a next time.
So who's your wife during the New Yorker documentary and the whole situation that actually brings us here today?
That was my fourth wife. That
Your
was
fourth.
Dana.
Okay.
She
I thought she didn't she convert to Islam as well?
she did. Dr. Sabel. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a big Dawa person from Chicago.
I know who he
Yeah,
is, yeah.
okay. Yeah, he gave my wife and my daughter Shahada. My wife, that was really a big negative spot because she left Islam. And when she left, she had told me that she did it just because of me, just for me. I This is something I take serious. Okay, I don't take a lot in life serious anymore, right? I just don't, because to me, life is serious, but it's not to be taken as seriously as people do, right? Because that causes heart disease and stress out. No, I don't do that, man. But my faith, I take seriously. And when she told me she just did it because she thought it would bring us closer, it really hit me hard, man. Because it was like a game for her. Well, I'll try. Nothing else is working. I'll try this. Oh man.
Why did she leave Islam though?
Mainly, it had to do with people, and I think we can all relate to this, especially the sisters. The men too, but I think the sisters more. They're real cliquish.
Mm.
right? And especially they tend to stay within their own ethnicities. You'll see that a lot, right? And that's not always, that's a generalized statement. I understand. I don't want to offend anybody, but that is kind of how it is, right? And the ladies at the mosque, they would, I mean, they didn't outright disrespect her, but she felt disrespected because nobody really had anything to do with her. Nobody really talked to her. You know, here I am, got guys giving me hugs, salams, you know, this, that, and the other. They're more like best buddies. And, you know, the women didn't really take her in much.
What was your position in the military?
I was a sergeant first class, a E7.
Okay.
Um, a,
Army, right?
well, I retired from the Army. I joined the Marine Corps, retired from the Army.
Oh, you were a Marine.
Yeah,
MashaAllah.
I did the hard one first.
Were you aware before your Islam that Zionists had a lot to do with your presence in Iraq and they have a lot to do with things that are pushed in the media?
Absolutely not. I had no idea. I didn't concern myself. That was the thing. I didn't concern myself with other things. I didn't concern myself with the what ifs or the maybes. You know, I was focused on this one thing, and my enemy was Muslims because they're the ones shooting at me. Right? That was it. I didn't even really. I'll be honest. I wasn't really sure what a Zionist even was. I mean, I figured it was a Jewish person, you know, which is very only partially true, right?
Yeah.
So
A lot of Christian Zionists, a lot of atheist Zionists.
exactly.
Yeah.
But since then, I've learned a lot of things, and there's a lot of questions that come up now with things that I was involved in, and that's where a lot of my own personal shame comes from because the things I was involved in. When I see the bigger picture, and you know, because one of the things you may have been around and heard this or seen this when somebody comes up to a veteran and says, "Thank you for your service," right? That's a big deal, right? I question that. I don't. I mean, I appreciate it. I thank them for coming up and acknowledging me. I do. I appreciate that. I really do. But what are they thanking me for? Are they thanking me for protecting them? Because I didn't do that. I made corporations richer. I made certain people richer. And because ultimately that is what I did.
Serve the interests of a foreign country too.
And the interests of foreign countries. Absolutely. Again, plays a part. Plays a part.
Because we got nothing to do with the Middle East, man, other than oil, obviously. But every single oil-heavy country there is our ally now, including Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah.
And the only reason we were in there is because of Israel. You heard of Netanyahu's 5 or 7 year plan, 5 year plan, 7 countries?
I've heard of it. I really hadn't spent much time looking into it. Again, it's something I'm one of those ones that like to use the term "is not real" for Israel because it's a reality that's not supposed to be real. It's not supposed to be there, right? And day's coming. Only Allah knows, but he worries me. His mentality worries me. His thinking. I'm not saying he's stupid.
You talking about Trump?
No, about Netanyahu.
Yeah.
It worries me, and I'm not saying he's stupid because I don't think he's stupid. I don't think he's stupid at all. I think he's a very intelligent person, but his desires and morals are not aligned at all, at all. So I had read something where he was actually seeing himself as a person who was to welcome the Messiah.
Yeah.
He had made that statement, and that's why he was doing what he was doing. No.
Yeah, a rabbi told him that he will be the last prime minister before the Messiah returns. What's interesting about him, and Norman Finkelstein said that over and over again, Netanyahu gets voted back in as the prime minister. He's the longest serving prime minister in Israeli history. And the Jewish liberal media in Israel constantly says Netanyahu's on his way out. Netanyahu his political career is over, yet he returns over and over again. And he said the reason is because Netanyahu is a summation of Israeli society,
Mm-hmm.
an obnoxious, supremacist, and entitled society.
Mm-hmm.
So when people try to scapegoat him and try to act like he's a one-state actor, he's not.
No.
He represents Israeli society very well.
He does, yes.
So I think it's interesting though, because I wanted to hear your opinions on how you felt now, because I see you're wearing a Gaza Palestine bracelets. You're wearing two of them. You were wearing a keffiyeh yesterday. You wear keffiyehs actually quite often.
Yeah, I do.
And I was wondering how deep you went in the rabbit hole of seeing that we've been fighting Israel's wars in the Middle East.
What it comes down to is, in all actuality, I don't care whose flag flies over that nation. I don't care what name you want to call it. I want to see people respecting each other. For if no other reason, because we're human beings. That's it, man. That's it. You know, the Quran, and this was the surah that really was the cherry on top for me. When I was reading through the Quran, I read El Kafirun. That's coexistence, man. That's coexistence, because Islam has gotten these markers of these things that have been placed on it that, you know, convert or die, or you know, if you're not a Muslim, we're going to kill you. No, it says so right here. You go your way, I go mine.
Freedom of religion. It was actually one of the first doctrines of freedom of religion.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That passage.
You know, I mean, there's all kinds of stories. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself actually helped rebuild a church in Medina after a huge storm.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a story. I wasn't there. I don't know how authentic it is, but there's a story about it. And I believe that because that was his nature. Right? It had nothing to do with the sending Christianity, the message Christianity out. It had nothing to do with that. It's that these people deserve a place to worship as they see fit. And that was one of his messages. They're not to be, well, even at the time, especially our allies were Christians. Because when the Meccan Muslims, when they went north, they ended up getting protection from a Christian king. And one of the questions were asked was, what's the difference between your religion and my religion? And the guy says, basically as thin as a line in the sand. You know, and it's true. It is. My fifth wife, again, may Allah bless her and everything. She's a sweet person, and she's a devout Christian. Okay, and we were actually able to live that. We were actually able to live that belief because the only thing that we personally did not agree on was the Trinity. You know. And well, in the crucifixion, when I told her the Islamic belief of the crucifixion, how it happened, right?
Yeah.
We didn't agree on that, but it wasn't that, oh, you're wrong. You know, you're going to go into darkness forever. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you don't want to. You know, you're not going to be destined for the fire because you believe that way. You know, which is what we're told by a lot of people of other faiths, right? Where, oh, well, you don't believe this way. Oh, you're going to the fire. Okay. People tell me that. I said, well, I didn't know you were the HR director to heaven. My bad. I'm sorry. Right. I don't know what else to say, right? But yeah, so we were able to actually live that way. Live Surah Al-Kafirun, right? Because the most important thing was we were both for the betterment of humanity. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Mckinney, ex-Marine or U.S. Marine?
Former Marine.
Former Marine.
Never say ex-Marine.
Yeah. There's never an ex-Marine, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Former Marine. Thank you so much for joining the Unslutty podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, pleasure to be here. I'm very honored. I'm humbled. I mean, you know, I've been on several podcasts, but I'm always humbled to be asked to be on them. It's fantastic.
The pleasures are ours. My first question to you when I heard your story was, why did you hate Muslims so much?
Mm. The golden question, right? What was it that made me hate these people, hate their religion? Um, I never had an answer. I never had an answer. Because most people, of course, I think the most go-to realization would be 9/11. 9/11. I think one of the statements I heard is that I learned everything I need to know about Islam on 9/11, right? But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. As a matter of fact, to be twisted about it, I was actually very content that 9/11 happened because I was actually in the reserves at the time. My military history is very here, there, and everywhere. But I was actually I did 2 years in the reserves. 9/11 got me back on active duty, got me to go back on active duty, which is where I always wanted to be, which is knowing that I was going to go back and be in that situation.
Are you a business that's confident that you're not backed by any Zionist or Israeli entity? Or are you a consumer that wants to be confident that you're not buying any product that's backed by any Zionist entity? Then download the Boycat app today. If you're a business, use the Ansari code Ansari10 to be marketed, promoted, and recommended to anti-Zionist consumers across the globe. And if you're a consumer yourself, then download the Boycat app for free and be confident that you're not spending or investing your money in any Israeli or Zionist product.
Why'd you want to be on active duty?
Well, because I'm not going on operations in the reserves. I chose to be in the reserves. So okay, so I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. I got out for 2 years. Tried to be a civilian. That was not working. So I went into the Army for 6 years. Then I went, after 6 years, I said, you know what? I want to settle down. I really want a marriage to work for me. I was looking at wife number 3 at the time. And I was like, I really want this to work. I'm going to go in the reserves. I'm still going to be in the military, but I'm going to be, I'm going to be a normal person too, right? And then 9/11, so I just went back active duty Army.
Oh, so it forced your hand. So it felt like,
More or
oh, I
less.
don't have a choice. Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, I could have stayed in the reserves, but
Okay.
I personally, knowing that the stuff was going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, I can't stay in the reserves. Would I eventually go over there in the reserves? Maybe, probably. But no. I need to be on active duty. So that was it. It did force my hand, but I mean I had a choice.
Yeah.
Really what it was, and this is something that's taken me years to actually discover. I hated myself. I did. I've done a lot of things, and I don't ever talk about that, but I've done a lot of things that have hurt a lot of people. My actions have caused brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters to never go home again. I'm very ashamed of that. I wasn't at the time, but today I deal with that shame and knowing that it was my actions that caused that. I took my disgust for myself out on the common enemy. At that time, the common enemy, Islam, Muslims. Nobody likes them. They're the reason our people are dying overseas, right? I mean, that was the common belief. And I was going to do my part, even though I knew it was illegal, because we are a system of laws, and you can't just go destroy things because you don't agree with them. That's against the law. You can't do that, okay? Unless you're the government. So I had went ahead and I built my own IED. Now we're talking 2 years. So I don't want you to just think I went to the hardware store and got a bunch of stuff and then I put it together and then, next week I'm going to blow this place up. No, 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 no. It was a long process. I took my time. I always tell people I'm not a criminal mastermind, but I watched a lot of shows. Okay. And one of the things I had learned is that you just don't do this stuff all at once. It raises red flags, right? I want to be able to carry this out. I don't want to get caught before I'm able to do it. Because I know I'm going to get caught afterwards. I know that. I mean, fingerprints, DNA, it's on the National Data Bank. I can't, I'm not getting away with crimes. I'm just not. Okay. But so it was about the course of maybe a little over 2 years.
I think just for the audience, you're talking right now about building a bomb
Yes.
for a local masjid in Indiana,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Before we get there, so you served in the U.S. military and came back
Mm-hmm.
from Iraq. How did killing people change you? Was it immediate or did it take some time?
Oh no, you change right away. It changes you. Let's put it this way. You go overseas, you go on deployment, you end up taking the life of somebody else, or maybe you even don't, but you're in that situation. When you come back, there's people that will come up to you and say, man, I don't even recognize you anymore. You don't see it, you don't feel it, right? Now, with personal feelings, you first time's always the hardest, man. It's always the hardest because it's before you learn the trick, and that's the mental aspect of it, because no matter what, you see that person. I still see that person. You can't escape that. You just can't. Now, and this is why I tell people when somebody goes to court and is facing murder charges, if they actually did it, I honestly feel that temporary insanity, at least, is a viable defense, because that's not right-mindedness. We're not made that way. Normal Joe on the street, I don't care if he has a whole arsenal in his house. He cannot go out and kill somebody. He can't. He's not made that way. That's why in the military, the basics and the boot camps are so hard and so brutal, because they destroy who you were and then build you up into something that they can use, right? And they get you to have a working switch, an on-off switch, right? The problem is a lot of veterans, myself included, after so long, that switch just gets stuck in the on position. You can't turn it back off, right? I learned to live with it because I learned the tricks. One of the first and actually easiest trick is to dehumanize your targets. Those aren't people, One of the things that I used mentally was the fact that I'm just shooting at a paper target on a shooting range, right? And I was able to do that mentally. It still comes back. There's many times after operations and after debriefings, I would go and find a quiet place alone and I'd cry. It hurts, man. It hurts.
So how did you navigate those feelings of guilt of shooting or killing someone then why did you continue to hate them? I mean, you could have.
Yes. So why did I continue to hate them? Well, it's because I hadn't changed yet. I hadn't felt the guilt yet.
Hating, in a way, was a coping mechanism for what you've done to them in the first place.
I've described it as an organ in my body, right? You need those to survive, right? Nobody's going to cut out their liver and think that they're going to live, okay? Hatred was my liver. Hatred was my heart. Hatred was my lungs. I can't get rid of this. This is keeping me alive, right? That was my mentality.
When you hear the stories of the Battle of Badr or Uhud or other places where Muslims are fighting in battle and coming out without PTSD, without guilt. How do you make sense of that? Because that's a big question that Muslims have always wondered about. The miracle of when Muslims fight to defend themselves, they don't come back with such illnesses. But we look at U.S. soldiers and other combatants, and they do.
My own personal feelings on that is because they were fighting in the cause of Allah. They were fighting in the cause of Allah. So regardless of whether they survived or became martyrs, Allah took care of them. That's my own personal feelings. I don't know. I can't say. There's military members today that have been in combat, been in hard combat, that don't have PTSD. It's just, I don't know. I won the lottery, I guess. I mean, that's kind of a funny way to look at it, but it does happen. But I'm saying with the early Muslims and the battles that they faced and the enemies that they were fighting against, they were fighting in the cause of Allah.
I find that beautiful what you just said there, because my personal belief is very similar in that I marvel at the fact that U.S. military is so above and beyond everyone else to where there's just almost no opportunity or chance of defeating the U.S. military as it's built today or as it was built during Iraq. But then you even said, I think it was your battalion was four to five, 4 to 6 people, and then all of them are gone except you, and they all died because of suicide. I was like, man, so no Iraqi, no Afghani was able to take them out. But, I mean, this might sound harsh. They were taken out in a different way.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I was explaining last night at the masjid. I took Shahada, and at that point, I knew I had been forgiven by Allah, right? Because it's starting anew. It's a rebirth, if you want to call it that, right? It's starting anew. But my own personal feelings is I don't know that I could ever forgive myself. Forgive me. Now, right, wrong, indifferent, in the grand scheme, that probably doesn't even matter, right? Because Allah's forgiven me, okay? But I still deal with it. And I think there's a reason for that. And I think that's handed down by Allah because He doesn't want me to forget.
You should forgive yourself, though, man, because we have to treat ourselves the way we treat others. So I've had to learn that because I'm tough on myself and your thoughts. I would say nice things to others, but not very nice things to myself. And then Ibtaj Muhammad, that Olympic Muslim champ, she started saying that was the revolutionary idea or thought change in her mind when she started treating herself the way she treats others. In a way, it's flipped from the golden rule almost.
Right.
Where she would be kind to herself. She'd be like, no, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are loving, and so on. But we have to forgive ourselves in order to transcend who we used to be. If we don't forgive ourselves, then we'll always be bogged down in our self-image of who we used to be. There's a quote that changed my life where it said, show a man who he is and watch him fall, but tell a man who he could be and watch him rise.
I like that. That's good. Yes. No, and it's very true. So, positive affirmations, right, are something that I believe in. I work in the mental health field, have for years, and when I talk to people, I try to push positive affirmations on them, and a lot of times they think it's silly. And I said, you know what? You stand in the bathroom or wherever, you stand in front of a mirror and you say these positive affirmations, and it does feel kind of silly, right? But silly's okay. Silly is fine, and silly will make you a better person. It will. Now, I have to say that for that very reason, I'm a hypocrite. I can't help it. And the thing is, so like the common response that I've been given when I explain this to somebody is, you did what you had to do. It was a you or them situation, right? Okay. To some extent, I can agree with you. I took it further. I enjoyed it. That's sickness. That's wrong. That's why I can't forgive myself. It wasn't because it happened because I was in that situation and I knew that if I don't do this, I don't go home. It wasn't necessarily always like that.
Why did you enjoy it?
I have no idea. Maybe a God complex, as it's known, right? I felt powerful. I don't really know. But it's something that I struggle with, man. You know, and you know, I spend a lot of time making sure people know that that's not me anymore. I'm not that person, right? Not anymore. But I personally can't forget it. And, you know, as they say, okay, you know, don't forget, forgive, right? That's very good advice, actually, because you don't want to forget because you want to learn. You want to learn from what happened, right? Whatever that may be. You don't want to forget it. But if it's something that hurt you, you want to be able to have the strength to forgive it. Okay? I totally agree with that. Again, I have to look at myself and call myself a hypocrite because it's just a lot. It's too much. And that's the aspect that I don't really get into, you know, with too many people, because if I start explaining things that actually happened, and, you know, people are going to be turned off by me and they're going to be afraid of me. And, you know, I'm not going to have that opportunity to sit and talk to you, you know, to sit and talk to you or other people like you right now and explain things, you know. The biggest point, I think, of my existence is the fact that people can change. We have the ability to not only change, but to be far better than what we ever imagined. And I feel I've done that with the help of Allah, of course. You know.
When I look at you in that New Yorker documentary, which was a very good documentary, I almost won an Oscar, was it?
Yeah, it was nominated.
Nominated.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy? That's not the guy that I saw the other day at all. SubhanAllah, it was crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. There was I should have got something for my acting abilities. I don't know, because it's a documentary, but you know, I had to kind of put myself in a different frame of mind while I'm going through the questionings, because of course the documentary is done after the fact. I mean, I would already been. Well, let's put it this way. It came out like 3 years ago. So, I mean, I've been a Muslim. I've been president of the Islamic Center of Muncie. I've been this. I've been that, you know. And so it's like I haven't been that person for years. So I had to actually put, you know, like the whole makeup. I had a small beard similar to yours. I hadn't grown it out yet.
This isn't a large beard
compared to mine. So you know, but they talked me into shaving it off because of what they were trying to capture there. So what it was, when you first initially saw me, it kind of gave the impression that they was interviewing me in jail, right? So they didn't want me to look anything like a Muslim, and they wanted me to show my tattoos. So I had the tank top on, right, and everything, but I had to really get my mind right. And it took a few takes, actually. It wasn't just all one take, man. We had to redo it a couple times because it was really hard.
Oh, man, that explains a lot. Because when I Google search you, you come up as actor, which is weird. They don't put you as Marine. They put you as actor. I'm like, why is he an actor? Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, so I had to do some acting, man.
I was sold.
Yeah, well, good.
So, okay, you went to war. Some would say you should have, whatever hatred you would have had, it should have come out there, right? Like, I mean, there's no better place to remove hatred than to literally go to war, right?
It's true.
What made you go back and decide the job wasn't finished?
Because there's still Muslims here. There's still Muslims in the world.
Hey, salam everyone. I'm excited to tell you guys about this amazing new group called Muslim Professionals, founded by a successful Muslim businessman. This is a free community connecting over 4,000 Muslims across the United States, working in places like Google, Microsoft, and Spotify. They're looking to connect people online and offline to work together, whether that's help finding a new gig, exchanging business ideas, forming partnerships, investing, or just making new friends. It's completely free to join. Just apply at muslimprofessionals.us. Let's grow together, win together. Dino Verdunya is personally my favorite streetwear brand backed by Islamic values. I love their products so much that I reached out to partner with them to get my viewers 10% off their product. Use the Ansari code Ansari10 to get 10% off. And check them out on their website or follow them on Instagram at dinoverdunya.us. Join the movement where you can rep your faith with intention.
I described Islam as being a cancer in the world, and I wanted to be the surgeon to eradicate the cancer, right? So I didn't believe in moderate Muslims, as they have been known to be called, certain groups that are not as orthodox or maybe that are not extreme. You know, they've been called moderate Muslims, which is just, it's silly, you know, but I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but whatever. I didn't believe they existed. I thought that was just an urban legend, right? It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. They're all scheming somehow, right? I believe that, right? I actually made the statement and had the thought, this is probably the dumbest thing that ever went through my mind. But that one day I was sitting in the mosque, that first day, I'm sitting in the back of the prayer room on a bench, right? And I'm sitting on the bench, and I got scared all of a sudden because it all hit me. Dude, you were the only non-Muslim in here, and the door is way over there. These dudes are going to have you in the basement with a sword to your throat by the end of the day. I guarantee it. I actually thought that. Yeah, I know. It's like, man, it's probably the dumbest thing that ever went through my mind. But I believed it at the time.
So what was it? Was it church? Was it movies? Was it the news? Or was it the war? Like, well, what made you have this holistic view of Islam as this barbaric, backwards, angry religion?
Well, so of course I had the primers, right? I was not a religious person at the time. A lot of people, one of the questions I've been asked a lot is, how hard was it to convert from Christianity to Islam? Well, I wasn't a Christian. And I explain this because I respect Christianity, very much so. I was not acting, speaking, or thinking as a Christian should. I could never call myself a Christian at that time. For lack of a better example, the flag was my cross. That's what I worshiped, right? Everything, I'll have to, you know, everything played its part. Media, everything as far as that goes. But with me, it was the people that had been shooting at me that really shaped my mind, right? And this is how it all came out. As I'm actually, for the first time, learning about what Islam truly was, reading through the Quran, and I'm into it. I was able, and I do these things, and I don't know how I do, because I don't consider myself an intellectual person. I don't consider myself a special skill person, but I was able to turn everything off, focus, because I was very, very much into finding the tangible proof that I was right. Because that I was right about the way I felt about Islam.
Right.
That it was evil.
And
right?
you're going to find that proof.
I was going to find it, right?
And this is because your daughter came home and talked to you about her friend at school whose mother was a niqabi, who wore a burqa, and you lost your temper and used a lot of profanity. Your daughter looked at you in a way you've never seen her look at you before. And that made you reflect and go, well, I'm going to prove to my daughter just how evil these people are.
Right. Because up until that point, I never considered that this even involved anybody but me. I'm married, got a family. Nah, I didn't even think that it even involved them. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, really? You got to rethink this, man. Okay, yeah, I'm still going to do it. But now I need to find that tangible proof for the people that don't feel the way I do to get them to understand that, oh, he was crazy, but he was right, you know? Um, and so that's why I ended up in the Mosque in the first place. Cause I already did recon. I knew I was going to place the bomb and everything. I knew that. I didn't need to go inside. Right. But I went in there and kind of undercover, like, introduced myself as somebody who wanted to learn a little bit about Islam, which wasn't a lie. And I was welcomed, man. And I was handed a Quran. And I was told to read it, come back when I have questions. Man, I was on cloud 9. Because I'm like, man, they just handed me the Holy Grail to evil. And I know it's the right one because it came from their library. And I have somebody volunteering to explain it to me. Oh, dear Lord, this is great. This ain't going to take no time at all, right? And as soon as I would, as soon as, regardless whether it's the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, it doesn't matter, man. You're going to come up to, you come on things like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound very cool at all, right? And that would happen. I was like, okay. I think I got him with this one right here. Okay, boom. Go back to the masjid. Get to him. And I end up with an explanation. And it wasn't an explanation like, oh, well, that's not really what that means. No. We would sit down with 2 or 3 other brothers. And we would be there for like an hour. And they'd be explaining this one verse. Right? They took their time. They really explained it. But I didn't take their word for gospel, of course. That wasn't, for the truth. I went back and then researched based on what the Quran said and what they said, and then researched it and backed it up and tried to. And back then they still had all those ugly videos on YouTube, right? Before they banned everything like that. And I backed up the research with looking at these pros and cons to the videos, right? On these videos and on these messages and reading these articles, right? And over time, I started learning that all the anti-Islamic, all the Islamophobic type of messages that were coming across in relation to what I was actually looking at really came from a place of ignorance. Because the things that they were saying was not true. I had too much evidence to prove that what I was being told was in the Quran was true. And I'm looking at, and I'm trying hard, man, to find this Islamophobic idea that, no, they're wrong. I couldn't do it. It wasn't there. That was a big part. The second part, of course, was the character of the Muslims. And it was probably the biggest part, actually. Because you got to remember that my impression of what Islam was the people shooting at me. Middle America, there's a small community, Afghan, Pakistan, a few other people, a few other ethnicities in there. Most of them had all been refugees, or at least their family had been refugees at one point. And as I'm reading in the Quran, it's very distinct on, okay, do this, don't do this, right? It's all the way through the Quran. Do this, don't do this. And I'm thinking about my belief in Islam attributed to these people who had been shooting at me. And I can just check it off. Things that they're doing, they're not supposed to be doing, even in times of war, right? Because it's very distinctive. It states what you're not supposed to do in times of war. It's very distinctive, right? It's not trying to hide it or make a parable about it. It's right there. And then I'm looking at the people here in Middle America, these Muslims, all ethnic Muslims, not reverts, not converts, not people that want to play Muslim, born Muslim. They're acting closer to what the Quran is saying, far closer than what these people were. So I had to question myself, who's my better example of what Islam is? The people committing all the wrongs or the people trying to do their best? That's a no-brainer. And that's when I had to fess up to myself that, you know what, you were wrong about everything you thought, man. You were wrong.
And what did that thought lead you to do or think next?
So I felt bad. I mean, I felt lost bad. Not bad because, oh man, I was planning on blowing these people up and they didn't deserve that, right? Not bad like that. I felt bad because what do I do now?
Right.
I got a bomb ready to go. Okay.
Gotta go pick it up.
I dismantled it, disposed of it.
You have to go pick it up.
Well, it was already stored someplace, like a third location, you know.
Oh, it wasn't. You didn't put it at the masjid.
No, not yet. No, I was waiting for Ramadan.
You're waiting for
Juma.
Ramadan.
They'd all be there.
They'd all be there.
You know, that was my plan. I was just waiting. So it still was a couple months away being placed.
Because the way you said it in the documentary was so funny. Just
What?
the way you
Oh,
worded
bang
it.
for my buck kind of thing? Yeah. I didn't know. That just came out. I didn't know what to say. I was like, man, you sound like you're illiterate saying that, man. Bang for my buck. Whatever. So I mean, then the plan all failed. I at that time I still had no intention of becoming a Muslim, but I understood them now. I understood them to be who they were, and in all actuality, I come to terms with the fact that, you know what, these are good people.
So you decided to not bomb the masjid before you even thought about becoming.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I mean, I knew I was wrong. I'm not going to do it to people that don't deserve it, you know.
So now the organ that kept you alive of hatred.
Yeah, it was weird. I think that's what I was feeling, because it was gone. It was dying inside, and I was not feeling. I didn't feel well. You know, it was weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's almost like I was getting sick because this organ is dying on me. You know, it didn't have a purpose anymore, right? I can't hate them. Now, at the time, I had not become a Muslim. I still had plenty of stuff I could hate. It's fine. So, to this day, I still hate two things.
Huh.
Lima beans and the New England Patriots. I hate them so much, man. But I think I'm okay with that. You know, so I I dismantled it and disposed of it properly. I mean, you know, and then a few weeks went by, and I kept studying. Because I've always been interested in religion, period. Anyway, but it's always been leaning more towards Christianity and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Because Islam, I just never even, honestly, I never gave a second thought to, right? And as I'm reading it, like I said, I come down to Surah 109, El Kafirun, and I read it, and that was the cherry on top. That was it for me. This is coexistence.
So the first thing was community.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that you found people that treated you in a way that you've never been treated before.
Right.
You even mentioned that they hugged you, which is something that you weren't used to being.
No. Well, that's American culture thing too. It's right. You know, it's like we don't, especially men, we don't hug, man. Right. You know, and really, it's just the women in the African American community that are known as the huggers when they greet you, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like, and these people coming out and some dude sitting at my feet, hugging my leg. What is going on here, man? But it's because these guys had so much love in them, you know? These people had so much love in them. This is the way they show their love, right? And for no other reason, they loved me because I was a human being. That, I think, was the most important part. They loved me because I was a human being. Something I forgot about being for years.
One of the things that had you wanting to do this is that you didn't care to continue to live. You knew
No.
you were going to be arrested or die.
Oh yeah. But what the importance of that was not just that I was going to die. I was going to die for a reason. There was a purpose behind my death. And that's what excited me. Because that's what I wanted. To die for nothing, to die in my sleep one night, or to die as I'm rocking, as I get old, like in a couple of years, and I'm rocking on the porch, and I just cease to exist. No, I can't go out like that. I can't do that, right? But I was done. I was done. I was tired of my life. I was tired of, I get up, I don't do anything, because I didn't need a job at the time, right? I didn't. I had money, and I was getting money from retirement, from disability. I didn't feel like working, because I didn't like people anyway. So I didn't want to be around any people, right? So I just no, I'll sit here and just, be all boo-hoo about myself, right? So I sat around and I drank all day, right? I was up to drinking a half gallon of vodka every 2 days, man. I did that for like 3 years. But the thing is that I finally quit, and it wasn't even an issue. Which I know sounds crazy. I have been to AA, I have been to rehab when I was still in the military, because I had an issue in military, right? And it's because that was my crutch, that was my coping thing, right? Alcohol, especially in the military, is really bad because it's expected that you drink, right? It just is. It's what you do, right? So I just continued that lifestyle. I woke up one morning and says, "You're done." Just told myself, "You're done, man. You're killing yourself, and it's for no reason." And 6 months after that, I kept like that much vodka in the bottom of the bottle, and I kept it on my counter in the kitchen, because I was testing myself. I want to make sure, are you really done? Never had a desire. A couple months ago, I walked by, my wife drinks wine every occasionally, every once in a while, right? And when we were still together, I walked by her wine glass one time, right? And I caught a whiff of it. I thought I was going to throw up.
Wow.
So
you were Muslim at this point.
Well, yeah, at this point I was Muslim. I had quit drinking before I actually took Shahada.
Really?
Yeah, it was just something that, because I was so, I was so focused on, I'm going to do this. I'm going to eliminate all these people. That's my purpose. I'm killing myself before I can even get to that. I got to quit this, right? Some say, well, that was a lie getting you ready to become a Muslim, right? Maybe. I don't know, but it wasn't a problem for me to quit drinking alcohol, right? It just wasn't. And it really amazed a lot of people, because everybody knows that there was very few days that I was sober the last 3 years of my drinking,
How long ago did you become Muslim?
2009.
Oh, this is a while ago.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people are thinking I just became a Muslim a few years ago, but it's been a minute.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At this point, this is.
Yeah. Well, the story didn't come out until that's the other thing. So, which may be one of your future questions, but the story didn't come out till years after it happened, actually.
Right. And how was it even known?
I was a college freshman at 46 years old. Okay. But I had a different relationship with my professors than the 20-something students, right? It was almost like we were friends. Because I had, in some cases, actually more life experience than they had, because their whole life had been in academia, right? And we would go out and have coffee, in between classes, or we would just sit in their office and drink coffee and talk, right? I mean, just whatever. And I was sitting there with one of my professors, and we were talking, and I don't know why. I have no idea why, because I had never told the story. Now, I'm already a Muslim, right? It's done. Bomb's gone, been gone, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to my professor about what I would plan to do. I had never told anybody this story. My wife at the time did not even know what I was planning to do.
SubhanAllah, your community, now your Muslim community, had no idea that
None, because I never told them. I didn't tell them. They found out and then questioned me about it. Right. I never said, because I was ashamed, man. I'm not going to tell them that, you know what? I love you people, man, but I was going to take you all out. I'm not, I couldn't do that, man. I just couldn't do that. And so I tell her the story. She's in shock. She's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "That story can change people's lives. You know that?" I'm like, "What? I'm nobody, right? I'm just the dude trying to get through college, and this old guy. Everybody, some of these young girls probably like, oh, stranger danger, I mean, it's I'm just trying to get by, man. That's all I'm doing." And she said, "What are you doing this afternoon?" I said, "Well, as soon as I finish this coffee," I smiled at her and said, "I'm going to try to figure out a way to get around doing that assignment you just gave us." She just laughed. She says, "No, you have my next class. You're going to give that story and you're going to lecture the class about change." And I was like, all right. So I did. Somebody in the class got a little nervous because they're like, wait a minute, this dude knows how to make a bomb and now he's a Muslim? Oh, why I call somebody? So that's how it happened. So a couple of days later, maybe, man, FBI is knocking on the door. Got me handcuffed in the front lawn, and I was like, "Man, you guys don't need to handcuff me, dude. I'm not going anywhere." I says, and then they took a bomb dog through the house, and I asked the agent, I said, "People actually keep these in their own homes?" He said, "You'd be surprised." I was, all right, man, go ahead, have at it. And then and eventually I take him to the actual spot where I did have it stored and explained everything to him. It was very helpful to them, I guess. I was told that I was very helpful to them understanding a little bit more about, because at that time domestic terrorism was still kind of new. I mean, you had the McVeigh thing and, the Oklahoma City bombing and stuff. But, especially with former soldiers and coming back and doing these acts, and they were learning. Okay. I guess I was kind of a teaching tool in a way. But as I'm handcuffed on the front lawn, that's when the wife pulled up with my daughter. That was when they found out of what I was going to do months before. Nobody knew, man. And I planned it that way. I didn't want anybody to. Two reasons. Number one, more people, I learned this from the shows I watch, more people that know, chances of it getting out grow. That's one. Number two, I wanted full credit. I don't want to share this with anybody, right? So nobody knew this, man. Everybody that knew me knew that I did not like Muslims, period. But they never knew I was going to that extreme, right? Right. And then, of course, it hit the newspapers. It hit USA Today. And I didn't know. I before it actually hit the local paper, though, Bibi from the Mosque, from the Islamic community there, she's known as the Sister Teresa of the Islamic community in Muncie, Indiana. she's nothing happens without Bibi's help, especially now because now she's president. But some of the members of the community came to her with a concern that I was going to blow up the Islamic Center. And they're like, she couldn't believe it, because I've already been to her house several times for dinner. I tell people I used to weigh 190 pounds before I went to BB's house, because boy, they will feed you. So she invites me to dinner, several members of the community, and we're just eating. Everything's going on. Nothing, you'd never know anything was up. Then she got you all fat and tired, and then she hit you with it. She had this plan. This woman, I'm telling you, I love her to death. She's so sweet. She goes, she asked me, she goes, is this what you intended to do? Man, I almost started to cry because even though I wasn't going to do it now, and even though I've showed these people that's not who I am, I was ashamed because, and I felt bad because I know that there was a piece of that's always going to be in their mind, no matter what, it's always going to be in their mind because it's something that they went through and didn't even know it. I get a little teary now just thinking about it, man. But, they forgave me, that I had once thought of that.
What was the reaction? Was it that
shock?
Anger? Shock?
It was shock. Yeah. Nobody was mad at me. Nobody was mad at me. And it was really confusing, really, because they were more empathetic than anything. Because, like Dr. Barami, Bibi's husband, right? He's a medical doctor, been a medical doctor since forever. And, other professionals are in attendance at this dinner. And they kind of understand there's a struggle going on with returning veterans, and that in all actuality, my story, as far as me having the feelings that I had, is not special. It's not nothing new, right? There's a lot of veterans that come back with hatred towards Muslims, with, just like in Vietnam, there was returning vets could not be around Asian people, right? They just couldn't because this hatred, there's fear, and yeah. And I mean, it's been all the way through, German Americans were treated terribly. Japanese Americans were treated terribly, all because of people ignorance and not knowing. And so they were very empathetic to me, man. And it just solidified my faith really even more, because not only were they acting that way because, number one, they're more educated. Number two, they are in fields that care about people. But three, and most important, that's what their faith teaches. And it really solidified my own faith, because I knew that's where it came from.
Were they not inspired by hearing that? What they had to do with your story and changing?
Yeah. Everybody was really susceptible. So as the story grew and it got out farther and farther, I got an email from a production company in New York.
Hey, Salam guys, we're trying to build more studios, hire more people, and create more shows that you guys will love and enjoy. If you guys want to invest in us, then go on patreon.com/Ansari Podcast and support us today.
I got an email from a production company in New York, and it was from the creator of the internet series Secret Life of Muslims. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. Okay.
Yeah.
And the creator of that is actually a Jewish guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Josh Seftel. Actually a Jewish guy. And he came up with the idea right after 9/11 because he's a professional person. So he has a lot of professional friends who happen to be Muslim. And he saw the way that they were being treated, and he didn't like it, because it reminded him, as he was a young boy living in northern New York, how he was treated as a young Jewish boy. People calling him names and stuff like that, right? He didn't like it. So he saw this in these people, his friends, and he said, no, I have a platform now. I can do something about that. So he came up with the idea of Secret Life of Muslims. The secret being, we're no different than anybody else. We just believe different, right? And so I answered the email, and we start talking. He flew me out to New York, and we filmed an episode for Secret Life of Muslims, 5.5-minute video. You can find that on YouTube if you scroll far enough.
What I thought was interesting that she said there is that you said a couple months back I was planning on blowing up the masjid. How many months between your plan and you converting to Islam?
Probably '07 was when it actually started to take shape.
Yeah.
And then I had basically, I thought, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then it's boom, this is what I could do. And then I started piecing it together. It was in the works for probably a little over 2 years.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
so when you came to, after you tried to execute it and then you stopped, realized that you shouldn't do that. After that, you became Muslim how many months later?
Oh, a couple weeks actually.
What?
Well, after I decided not, this is after I've already started being with these people and talking and reading the Quran and stuff like that. I mean, it was like it was over 2 months from me stepping foot in the masjid that first day to me becoming a Muslim, right? But then before I decided to actually become a Muslim, it was probably a couple weeks before I took Shahada that I said, no, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And then as I'm keep on researching and keep on reading and keep on spending time with these people, because I just enjoyed being around them. They made me feel good, right? And that's when I decided to become a Muslim. But before that, yeah, it was a few weeks, and I started dismantling. And I mean, again, took my time because now I'm not going to do it, so I definitely don't want to get caught. Right? So it was not an issue, man. It was not an issue, But I mean, yeah, it was dismantled and disposed of properly.
Brother Richard Mckinney, thank you so much. That's all the questions that I have for you, man. Do you have any final thoughts before we head off?
We often question that, how can we make a difference in the world? How can I do anything that's going to matter, right? Because I'm one person. And I said, yeah, you're right. But when the film came out and it hit YouTube, one of the comments, and there was many comments, not all of them were nice, but one I came across, and this will stick for me for the rest of my life, is one I came across. Of course, his language was a little colorful, like I used to talk, but what he said was, if a tough guy like you can change the way he thinks about things, I guess I can too. So as one person, I changed the way he thought about things with a lot of help, but I changed the way he thought about things. Now he has that same duty. And not that he's going to be that he's going to set out to do it like I'm doing, but just in conversation, it comes up, and he says, "Oh, hold on a second, need you to see something," stuff like that. Or maybe he could be a Muslim by now. He might have actually took that, went out, pursued another Muslim, talked to him, start reading the Quran. Now he's a Muslim. I don't know. I've been told that there's been a lot of people that's taken Shahada after seeing my film. I've been told. I don't know. Of course, that was never my intention, but, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't ever sell yourself short. We can always become better than we are today, and then tomorrow and the next day. Never settle. I tell people, don't accept. Always acknowledge, never accept.
I have some speed round questions for you, actually, before I let you go, because now I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on this. If you were, inshallah, when Allah allows you to go into heaven, Ameen, what's the first thing you'd like to do?
Wow, I've never even given that any thought, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
I guess drink from the stream. I heard it's probably the sweetest water you'll ever taste.
The wine, or the river wines, or
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
You want some wine?
I mean, it's kind of like, hey, but it's like, I guess it's like non-alcoholic wine because you can't get drunk, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I haven't been there, so I don't know. Today I was told by one of the sheikhs at the masjid that, initially when you get into heaven that you get like 2 beautiful wives. I was like, nah, I can't do 2 women, man. I don't know. You don't understand. I said, I thought when we got to Jenna, the tests were over, man. I thought they were over. Now you're going to give me 2 wins. Oh, forget that, man. Dude, no.
It's a lot more than 2.
I don't want it. I want 1.
Hey, they're heaven.
1 would be nice.
They're heaven, man. It's a heaven woman.
No, that's not heaven, dude. You don't understand. I've been married 5 times, man. I've been married 5 times. 1 woman is more than enough. I'm sorry. I know it's a whole thing, a whole Islamic concept thing, and I have my feelings about that, which don't really matter. But yeah, no, that's insanity, is what that is. That is insanity.
But they'll be, like in heaven, there's no ill feelings, there's no argumentation, there's no bad words. They won't ever argue with you. They'll always show you love.
Yeah.
Love's a fruit.
Yeah, that's what they say. We know how that works out for you. I'm just saying, man. Just saying. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Women are wonderful, and I think they're that a man needs a woman in his life. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I joke around so much, man. But and I don't think women get hardly enough credit that they deserve. Really, I honestly feel that way. But as we can too, they're a trial, man. They're a trial. I mean, you end up having your own communications. It's like you don't even have to talk to each other anymore. It's just like, look, and the look I was mostly used to was that mean questioning look.
Yeah, we're a trial on each other.
We are. We truly are, man.
And if you were to have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Whoa, I need to be careful with this one. I think it would be the ability, trying to explain this in the best way I can, but the ability to have people show more concern for what's around them and not what's inside them. Show more concern about everything and everybody, and to live up, because like one of the most important things I think I've read in the Quran, and it every religious text, at least with the Abrahamic religions, every religious text says something similar, right? But a true believer is one who wants the same thing for himself that he wants, or wants the same thing for his neighbors that he wants for himself, right? It says that in the Quran. And can we honestly say that we feel that way 24/7? Hopefully, inshallah, you do feel that way sometimes at least, right? But 24/7, 365, do you really feel that way? And I don't know of any of us that can say absolutely.
I think that's one of the things that struck me about Bibi, is that she's a person that does.
I know. She's a very giving person. I mean, she just gives of herself. It's like, she started this charity for Afghan women and kids, man, that has done. They're negotiating things with the Taliban now, but I mean, it had a lot. I mean, they've done a lot of good things, right? And even locally, with the organizations she belongs to and the charities that she runs or is a part of or has created. She's not just about, I know one of the things is like, yeah, all these people come from other countries and they come here and make all this money, but they send it right back home. Okay, yeah, there probably is some people who do that, but Bibi, she doesn't. She takes care of what she needs to take care of. She gives back to where she came from, and she gives to where she's at. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, man.
If you were able to time travel and live or observe one time period other than the Prophet, peace be upon him, what would it be?
Patriots winning their 6th Super Bowl.
Winning?
Patriots winning their 6th Super Bowl.
Their 6th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I thought you didn't like the Patriots.
I don't. I'd go back and change it. I'd go back and change it.
Wait, who did they play in the sixth one?
I don't even remember. But see, I'm a Steelers fan.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so the Steelers had the most Super Bowl victories in history until then. They have 5, and now New England has 6.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, we'll change that.
We'll change it through some football stuff.
Yeah, football stuff. Yeah, it'll be halal. It'll be halal.
That is such an interesting response.
Or ban lima beans from the face of the planet. Those are disgusting. I don't know how anybody can eat lima beans, man. They are so gross.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you haven't had them right.
Maybe, I don't know, man. But dude, I don't think you could put enough salt, pepper, sauce, anything on those things. It is. Ugh.
By the way, what's this tattoo right here?
Oh, goju-ryu. That's a type of. That's actually so. Best way to describe that would be my base art, where it's a martial art.
Okay.
It stands for hard, soft way, right?
Okay.
And being my base art, it would be like, because I have practiced several different martial arts.
Is that how you know this guy right
now? No, we just clicked because he's a big martial artist guy.
Yeah.
So, but everything really. This is the foundation of everything that I had done after, right? Whether it be jiu-jitsu, of course, Ishinryu is kind of like an offshoot. I shouldn't say that really, because it might really irritate a lot of people whose base art is Ishinryu, because they'd be like, no, Ishinryu was better. I don't, whatever, man.
How about that one? What's that one?
That's my Marine Corps.
Your Marine Corps?
USMC.
Bulldogs?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
That's their Bulldog is the Marine Corps mascot.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
why the Bulldog?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I really don't.
Like
I really don't, man. I remember it was funny though. I was watching a video. You heard of the Marine Corps Silent Drill Team?
No.
Okay, they're the Silent Drill Team. Marine Corps Silent Drill Team is a precision drill team. Have you ever seen a video where like these guys dressed up in dress uniforms were like throwing rifles up in the air and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Silent Drill Team.
Okay.
So there was this one video where they were doing a ceremony and they were marching. Well, they were marching with the Marine Corps mascot, which there's like one. When he dies, we get another one, right? But it's like one actual mascot, and it's a bulldog, and it stays at Marine Corps headquarters in Washington, D.C. So this Marine, he can't break stride. He's just walking. He's marching. He can't slow down. He can't stop. Nothing. Dog decided it wasn't going to go no more. It was done. That dog just got drug right on the carpet because the Marine he can't stop, man. It's like, there goes the dog just getting pulled down the carpet. That was actually on video, man. I was like, I get it. Well, you know.
Pull that up, right? I kind of want to see this.
It was funny, man. It was funny. Look for
oh, there you are.
Marine Silent Drill Team dragging dog. I don't know. See what comes up. No, that's not that one.
Dragging mascot, bulldog mascot, maybe.
I don't know. It was a while ago.
I didn't know they had these events. I thought.
Oh yeah, it's pretty awesome to watch them, man. It's like, wow, dude. Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. I don't know.
You used to be a part of this?
No. I never did this stuff, man. This is not.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't. It's not there. Raheem, you got any questions before we head off, brother?
I think that was everything.
Yakub, you got any questions, bro? Brother Richard McKinney, thank you so much for joining the Unsalted Podcast. It was
my pleasure, bro. My pleasure, man. I'm glad we can make it happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you guys for listening to the Unsalted Podcast.